Good evening. The projected cost of the High-Speed 2 rail line through the region has shot up by an astonishing £10 billion today. The announcement came before 39 MPs, including several from the West Midlands, tonight voted against HS2 in a parliamentary debate. This comes on the back of the government's spending review, which included a £2 billion investment fund that's expected to benefit this region. Bob Hockenhull's been assessing reaction to today's statement.
Aspirations for an infrastructure boost have rarely been higher in the heart of England. The West Midlands will want as much of that cash as possible, but for some in Birmingham, the amount made available fell well short. One major project already underway is New Street Station, being rebuilt as part of an £800 million investment. 1,000 workers, many recruited locally, are involved. It wouldn't be happening without government cash, and it's not just about improving rail services. This is where they're building the John Lewis and Grand Central shopping complex next to the station. It's a construction site now, but in 18 months' time it'll be full of shoppers and, more importantly, lots of job opportunities. So has the Chancellor done enough to kickstart similar giant projects? The Greater Birmingham and Solihull Local Enterprise Partnership will be responsible for delivering any economic revival.
We've been given reason to believe by the government that we'll be invited to bid very early, if not first in the process. And the important thing about this is not the size of the pot, but that it is the beginning of a different process.
The budget for one huge infrastructure project for Birmingham, the High-Speed 2 rail line, shot up today by £10 billion to £42 billion. The government says it still may not cost that much, and opponents are still determined to scupper the whole project. New pictures show what HS2 trains could look like, and one of the companies involved believes it is a price worth paying.
There are statistics across the world which demonstrate that putting money into infrastructure is far more beneficial than trying to do cuts elsewhere and trying to cut taxes, VAT and things like that to stimulate growth.
A sentiment the would-be wealth creators in the region hope George Osborne will agree with. Bob Hockenhull, BBC Midlands Today.
Well, for more reaction now to today's statement by the Chancellor, we're joined by John Lamb from Birmingham Chamber of Commerce Group. What did you think of George Osborne and what he said for us here in this region today?
Well, I think there was good and bad in what he said. I think the good news was that there's going to be an announcement of £100 billion for investment in infrastructure projects tomorrow, and they're going to be investing into educating children in science. But the overwhelming reaction from the business community is one of disappointment.
Well, we were hoping for £50 billion in this pot to be shared out in all the local enterprise partnerships, and it's £2 billion. It's not what you were hoping for, is it?
No, it doesn't mean, it means that we probably won't be able to do what we wanted to do. It's a huge drop, and to share that among 39 local enterprise partnerships is going to be spread very, very thinly.
Andy Street in Bob's report there saying it's not the size of the pot, it's a new process, but you do need the cash to regenerate things.
Of course, yes, and that's the size of your projects will depend on the size of the pot. And he's right that some good projects are already underway, New Street, Paradise Forum, but things like the plans for UK Central out at the airport would probably have been funded by some of this money.
And finally, the bill for HS2 suddenly going up by £50 billion today. If it did go up by £50 billion, does it still make economic sense for our region?
Yes, of course, yes. There's still a very, very strong business case for HS2, and we're convinced, the government seems absolutely committed to it, so we're delighted about that.
John Lamb from the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce Group, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And staying with HS2, actually part of a brand new £12 million park in Birmingham city centre will have to be bulldozed to make way for the proposed HS2 terminal. Pete Morgan at breakfast on BBC WM will have the full story from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.